Kudirat Abiola and Pa Alfred Rewani, both of whom were murdered by agents of military repression. We also remember the many civil rights activists, journalists, and politicians imprisoned, exiled, tossed aside, tortured, and beaten by the military regime. We remember Chief Anthony Enoro, Commodore Dan Suleiman, Chief Abraham Adesanya, Ayo Adebanjo, Chief Gani Fawaimi, Balarabe Musa, Ganiu Daudu, the journalist Baguda Kato, and Commodore Ndibusi Kano. I mention these names not to exclude or degrade the profound contribution of anyone else, but to illustrate through these few heroes the universality of our pursuit of democracy. The struggle was never the province of any one group or section of the country. It was pan-Nigeria in its conception, and it will even be more pan-Nigeria as we strive to perfect it. It is fitting that I come to this chamber to you. You are the authors of the People's Law, and I must be their faithful implementer. While we may not always agree, we must forge a way to work together, because this is what democracy demands of us. I pledge myself to this cooperation and ask that you do the same for the good people of our country. Mr. Chairman, the National Assembly has acted to uphold democratic ideas at every critical moment in our nation's history. In 2006, the Fifth National Assembly protected our democracy against unseemly third-term bid that would have ripped our constitution apart. In 2010, the National Assembly, through the doctrine of necessity, opened the door for then Vice President Goodluck Jonathan to become the acting president following the illness of his predecessor. Even under the military, the National Assembly tried to protect our democracy. After General Abacha took over power on November 17, 1993, and dissolved the National Assembly, some of us, led by Senator Ame Ebute, the Senate President of the Third Republic, defied the General and his goons, and we reconvened Old Parliament Building in Lagos and declare that regime illegal. We had the courage to do so, the determination to resuscitate democracy, but we were jailed for our defiance. On behalf of a grateful nation, I commend your invaluable role in lawmaking, oversight, and constituency representation. At this point, I plead for your indulgence so that I may put a terrible rumor to bed. To those who ring the alarm that the APC is intent on a one-party state, I offer you a most personal promise. While your alarm may be as a result of their panic, it rings an error. At no time in the past, nor any instance in the present, and at no future junction, shall I view the notion of one-party state as good for Nigeria. have never attempted to alter any political party registration with INEC. Equally, my dear friends and colleagues, we cannot blame anybody seeking to bail out of a sinking ship, even without a life jacket. Look at my political history. I will be the last person to advocate such a scheme. In year 2003, when the then governing party tried to sweep the nation clean of political opposition through plot and manipulation, I was the last progressive governor standing in my region. In their numbers, they boasted. In all their numbers and the false grandeur, they boasted of ruling, not only governing Nigeria, for the next half century or more. Where are they now? Yet I stood alone. My allies had been induced into defeat. My adversary held all the cards that mortal man could carry. Even with all of that, they could not control my destiny and could not control our national destiny, because fate is written from the above. A greater power did not want Nigeria to become one-party state back then. Nigeria will not become such a state now. The failed effort to create a one-party state placed progressive political party forces on a trajectory to form the APC. It put me on the trajectory which have brought me before you today. I dare not such a favor to any political adversary by repeating the same mistake of political overreach. A one-party state is not in the oven, nor shall it ever be. That said, we would be guilty of political malpractice if we close our door on those from other parties who now seek to join the APC. I sincerely welcome our party's newest members from Delta and Akwa Ibom states, led by Governor Sheriff Oboweri and Pastor Umo and other national members of this respected National Assembly. You are all welcome to the progressive fold. Nobody should close the door. Political parties fearful of members leaving may be better served by examining their internal processes and affairs rather than fearfully conjuring up demons that do not exist. For me, I would not say try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a disarray.
Please.
We must distinguish honorable members of this House. We must welcome and accept the diversity and the number of political parties, just as we welcome and embrace the diversity of our population. Our efforts must never be to eliminate political competition, but to make that competition salutary to the national well-being of working across the aisle, political aisles, whenever it is possible. One area in which democracy calls us to work together, whether in legislative or executive branch, whether in this or other political parties, is that the economy and social development of this country must not be compromised. On assuming office, my team and I moved to reform our ailing economy. We introduced fundamental reforms to correct structural imbalances that prevented maximum growth. We are already seeing results. The GDP grew by 3.4% in 2024, with quarter four hitting 4.6%, the highest quarter of growth in over a decade. Inflation is easing gradually, steadying the price of food staples like rice and beans. Our net foreign reserve have increased fivefold, and the naira exchange rate has stabilized. Our balance of payment position is positive. Our sovereign credit rating is improving, and we continue to promote oil and non-oil gas exports. State do not need to go about borrowing to pay salaries anymore. In less than 1 year, over 100,000 Nigerians, including 35,000 civil servants, has benefited from affordable consumer credit through the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, enabling them to purchase vehicles, light up, and improve their well-being, and purchase life essentials. This July, we will launch a bold new initiative to empower 400,000 young Nigerians, including youth corpers, with consumer credit. We are committed to giving more opportunities to young people through job creation and skill development. Through such programs as Nigeria Education Fund, NEL Fund, we are investing in education and in the greater future of our country, vocational training, apprenticeship, and entrepreneurship to ensure that our youth are job ready and future ready. In addition, we have embarked on an ambitious project to lay fiber optic cables across the nation, a transformative step towards bridging the digital divide and fostering greater connectivity. This initiative promises not only to enhance the speedy and reality of internet access, but also to revolutionize how business operates, how students learn, and how community stays connected. By extending this critical infrastructure, we are empowering entrepreneurs, enabling digital education, and providing the tools for our youth to compete in a globalized economy. Our Nigerian First policy will further enhance progress and will consolidate market-driven growth. The improved economic performance is encouraging and validates the soundness of our policy measures with collaboration with you. Our medium-term growth target remains an economy growing at a 7% clip with a stronger manufacturing base. We must learn to produce and grow most of our food, and we are on the path to achieving food sovereignty. These and other reforms have placed the economy on a more rational footing, where critical decisions regarding the large-scale investment can now be made. We are making agriculture more sexy by providing tractors, and I ask you, the legislature, to join me as we enter the second half of our term to put forth innovative legislation that further encourages industrial development and job creation in our urban centers, while also drafting laws that improve food security and production. To further underpin our economic vision, we introduced a competitive tax reform package, a vital component of our economic re-engineering. I am deeply grateful to both chambers of this House for your thorough consideration and deliberation of these bills, and I look forward to signing them into law soon. Again, your collaboration across party lines on these bills has been a model of democracy. You are great. As elected leaders, we must continue to do more to make real the dream of Nigerian political and economic democracy. We must be vigilant in expanding the political space. We must always value dialogue over dictatorship, persuasion over suppression, and rights over might. With be tolerant and broad-minded in our legislative action regarding speech and civil liberty. Do not be afraid to bear an unkind word spoken against you. Some of the best advice a politician gets sometimes comes from his most ferocious opponents, if they think well though. We do not seek silence because the imposed silence of repressed voices may breed chaos and ill will. Not the harmonic of democracy in the long term. While malicious slander and libel should not go unattended, no one should bear the brunt of injustice for merely writing a bad report about me or called me names. Democracy requires a fair degree of tolerance for harsh words and stinging insults, particularly when they are pained because of their losses. Call me any name. I'm not here to make you happy politically, and I will still call upon democracy to defend your right to do so. Mr. Senate President, Mr. Speaker, distinguished senators and honorable members, our nation is not perfect, but it is strong. Our democracy is not invincible, but it is alive. And this means Our dream of a prosperous, happy nation is still within reach and worth fighting for. Mr. Chairman, Nigeria is at an inflection point, undergoing structural and fundamental change towards a secure future. Our administration is fully committed to boosting the economy and productive base through investment in critical infrastructure, roads, expansion of port operations, rail, and power. We are creating a new environment in which industry and manufacturing can thrive. Our tax and fiscal policy reform will streamline taxes, administration, and eliminate burdensome or multiple taxes, enabling our industrialists and entrepreneurs to operate in a more conducive environment. Governors must work and deliver value to the people. As part of our tax reform, we have provided small businesses with an exemption of tax, established the Office of Tax Ombudsman, and ensure transparency and protect taxpayers' rights. Digital tools now help us track performance and reduce waste. The diaspora's bond and non-resident BVN are bringing Nigerian abroad into national development fold. In line with my promise during the New Year address to the nation, I recently appointed the board of directors of the newly established National Credit Guarantee Company. The company backed with 100 billion naira in an initial capital. With the Bank of Industry, BOI, which, by the way, is performing very well in supporting SMEs, next year, Credit Corp and Murphy as stakeholders. BOI will play a significant role in transforming the nation's industrial landscape and reducing corruption. National security is the foundation of peace and progress. We have intensified security operations to reclaim communities from criminals and terrorists. We are better at coordinating intelligence and interagency cooperation. It has proved well for us. Our highways are safer now, and we invest in technology and training to secure every inch of this country. Let's take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces for their bravery in service of the nation, their selfless dedication to protecting our sovereignty and ensuring the safety of citizens to serve an inspiration to us all. As we celebrate the progress of our democracy, we must not forget the pivotal role they play in safeguarding our freedom. For their courage and commitment, they deserve not only our gratitude, but also our continued support, prayers, and recognition. May God continue to keep our men and women safe. Fellow compatriots, our achievements are not work of one man. They are the result of a collective effort to make possible the Nigerian dream. Yet the journey is not over. We must work even harder to translate broad macroeconomic gains into tangible improvement in the lives of ordinary Nigerians. We must stay the course, reject cynicism, and believe Nigeria can and will rise again. as we mark a 26th year of unbroken democracy, it is right to honor those who have made sacrifices in the past, braving all odds and the guns to ensure we have a regime of democracy in our country. In this light, I announce the conferment of posthumous honors of CAFR on Kudirat Abiola. The heroine of our June 12th struggle. I also confer posthumous honor on Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, GCFR, and Professor Humphrey Nwosu, CON, Rear Admiral Kano, CON, Balarabe Musa, CFR, Paul Afro Riwani, CFR, Bagabda Kato, OON, Shimaubani, OON, Dr. Bekora Samkuchi, CON, Alao Akabashorun, CON, Chief Franco Kori, CON, Ima Ezeazu, Bamin, COON, Bamindele Aturu, OON, Frederick Bashim, CON, Professor Festus Iyayi, CON, Dr. John Yimasen, OON, Alaja Sawa Bagambo, CON, Dr. Edwin Madunagu, CON, Dr. Alice Ibru, CON, Shibalaigi, CFR, Paruben Fasoranti, CFR, Senator Ayofasami, CON, Senator Polycarp Nwite, CON, and Dr. Nuruddin Oluwokoko, CON. I also have the honor to confer on Professor Wole Soyinka, GCON, Professor Olatunji Dare, CON, the journalist and journalism teacher, Kunle Ajibade, OON, Noza Igebo, Dapo Olonyomi, Bayo Nanuga, CON, Ayo Obe, Oni, Dare Babarinsa, CON, Bishop Mazi Azan Puka, CON, Senator Sonny Shehu Sani, CON, Governor Basani, CON, Barrister Femi Falana, SAN, CON, Professor Shafidin Namowo, CON, Owe Lakemfa, OON, Barrister Luke Aganano, OON, Senator Tokumbo Afikuyomi, CON, Labram Maku, OON, Kade Komolafe, OON, Dr. Tuji Alausa, OON, Honorable Abdul Oru, OON, Odian Fem, OON, Sheye Kende, CON, Barrister Felix Muka, CON, Barrister Ledumite, CON. Honorable Olawale Osun, CON. Dr. Amos Akingba, CON. Professor Segun Gbadegesin, CON. Bolaji Akeyemi, Professor Bolaji Akeyemi, CFR. Dr. Kayode Sonoke, CON. Julius Iyanbere, CON. Lieutenant General Ikwola Arani Akenriade, retired, GZON. Professor Bayo William, CON. Senator Abu Ibrahim, CFR. Senator Ame Bute, CFR. Additionally, I confer the national honor of CON on Uncle Sam Amuka Pemo, a legendary journalist and the publisher who remained true to his lifetime calling as he marks his 90th birthday tomorrow, June 13th. Furthermore, I also confer posthumous national honor on Ken Sarawiwa, CON. He was the leader of Goni 9 with his fellow travelers, Sunday Dobby, OON, Nodu Ewo, OON, Daniel Boko, OON, Paul Levera, OON, Felix Owete, OON, Barbara, OON, Marian Kobel, OON, John Kupen, OON. I shall also be exercising my prerogative of mercy under the prerogative of mercy to grant these national heroes a full pardon. Together with other names that shall be announced later in the conjunction with the National Council of State. Finally, it is my great privilege to now decorate the presiding officers of this National Assembly with the national honor earlier announced. Presiding officers, so please. Well, that of Prof will come later. In conclusion, let us rededicate ourselves to the ideal of June 12. Freedom, transparency, and accountable government. Social justice, active citizen participation, and a just society where no one is oppressed. We must strive harder to hand over a banner to our children and grandchildren without stain. Happy Democracy Day, and may God continue to bless Federal Republic of Nigeria and protect our troops. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, and President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. It is now my singular privilege and honor to invite my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives of the 10th National Assembly, Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, GCON. So now give us his remarks and also move a bit of time.
Your Excellency, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. My dear brother, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Godswill Akpabio, Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun, GCON, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the National Chairman of the greatest party in Africa, APC, Alhaji Ganduje, the Deputy President of the Senate, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, principal officers of the Senate and the House of Representatives, distinguished senators, and honorable members of the House of Representatives, executive governors ably led by the chairman of the Nigerian Progressive Governors Forum, former presiding officers of the National Assembly, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Chief of Staff to the President, members of the Federal Executive Council, ambassadors and high commissioners present here, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, the clerk to the National Assembly, service chiefs, others present here, ably led by the Oni of Ife, the Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission and his commissioners, the Chief Commissioner of the Public Complaint Commission and your commissioners, the Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, Clerk to the Senate and the Clerk to the House of Representatives, Secretaries of Directorates of the National Assembly Management Staff, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, we have gathered in this hallowed chamber to celebrate a truly historic occasion, which is 26 uninterrupted years of democracy in Nigeria. Your Excellency's address has not only elevated our commemoration, but also reaffirmed the vitality and resilience of our democratic institutions. On behalf of the National Assembly, I express our profound gratitude for the honor given to us by His Excellency, the President and Commander of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, thank you so much. We are honored. I will not take this honor for granted. We recall with reverence the historic events of June 12, 1993, a day when Nigerians across all divides united to affirm their collective will of democratic governance. We also salute His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who himself was a frontline crusader in the Nadeko pro-democracy struggle. You are one of the patriots who labored so that democracy might thrive. And now you lead our nation under the banner of renewed hope. Your story itself is that of the triumph of democracy. Over the past 26 years, the National Assembly has served as the guardian of our democratic institutions. In 2006, we rejected the third-term bid. In 2010, we invoked the doctrine of necessity to ensure uninterrupted governance, and we have championed constitutional and electoral reforms subsequently. Since June 2023, under President Tinubu's stewardship and the 10th National Assembly, we launched an 8-point legislative agenda, fully aligned with the renewed hope agenda. Within 2 years, we have reviewed 2,263 bills. Of these, 65.3 have passed second reading, while 186 have been successfully passed. A total of 51 bills have received presidential assent, marking an unprecedented milestone for any president in his first 2 years. Congratulations on that feat, Mr. President. Our legislative efforts have yielded measurable progress on multiple fronts. In security, we allocated 6.11 trillion, representing 11.1% of the 2025 budget, to the security sector. The Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Act 2023, signed by the President, has set Nigeria on the path to self-reliance in arms production and logistics. Similarly, the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons Act 2024 has tightened regulatory loopholes in arms control. It is expected to significantly reduce the illicit circulation of small arms and light weapons across the country. On the economic front, we supported the removal of subsidies and the unification of foreign exchange windows. We courageously passed legislation targeted at tax reforms. Cumulatively, these actions, along with the bold decision of the President, are boosting investor confidence, increasing federal revenue, and augmenting state allocations. In April 2025, Nigeria met its OPEC production quota of 1.486 million barrels per day. This is the first time Nigeria has met its target since 2021. Through legislative measures, we have supported and accelerated the President's infrastructure revolution. Funding for infrastructure rose to 8.16% in 2025, sustaining 440 ongoing road projects, including the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano corridor and the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway. In the social sector, allocation to education increased from 5.7% in 2021 to at least 8.2% in 2023-2024. The Student Loan Act has empowered over 500 students. Mr. President, with legislative support, you have established a record 10 new universities, polytechnics, and specialized institutions. This is the highest of any president in his first term. We are committed to providing funding to these institutions to ensure a smooth takeoff. Health allocations increased to 5.46% in 2024, resulting in the revitalization of 4,000 primary healthcare centers and clinics nationwide. We also supported the implementation of 70,000 naira minimum wage to reinforce social protection. The House of Representatives has actively conducted oversight of executive agencies to ensure that laws are implemented and that development funds are allocated properly. The House Public Accounts Committee has reported recoveries exceeding 61.5 billion in outstanding debts owed to the federal government by oil and gas companies. A very big commendation to our Public Accounts Committee. Thank you, Honorable Salami. We have also deepened transparency through our biannual youth and women's town halls, an annual live televised citizens interactive session, and the annual House Open Week. We're excited to announce that the next Open Week is scheduled for July, and Mr. President will be honored if you could join us and officially declare the event open. Our parliamentary diplomacy has flourished with the establishment of 82 friendship groups, fostering legislative ties with global partners. Collaboration with civil society organizations, including UNDP, PLAC, UN Women, CAS, and YAGA Africa, have enhanced our expertise and promoted inclusion. Notably, the 10th House has partnered with the UNDP, resulting in a memorandum of understanding to mobilize 50 billion naira over 4 years for the parliamentary development project of the House, thereby strengthening the capacity of members of the House of Representatives. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the 10th House has proven to be a house with a human face. In March 2025, members donated the sum of 705 million naira, equivalent to half of their salaries over 6 months, to support the Mr. President's relief program for vulnerable Nigerians. The House has also contributed the sum of 650 million to provide housing for the families of deceased members and former leaders. Furthermore, individual members donated over 500 million to support communities ravaged with civil stripes in Kaduna, Enugu, Anambra, Oyo, Niger, Borno, Plateau, and the Federal Capital Territory, assisting displaced persons affected by banditry and communal violence. Furthermore, as part of the Renewed Hope agenda, the 10th House extended dedicated support to our traditional institutions, recognizing their vital role in community leadership and cohesion. We provided 40 new vehicles to traditional rulers across 6 geopolitical zones to enhance community engagement. Mr. President, we express profound gratitude to you for conferring the national honor of GCON upon the office of the Speaker, following pleas by members, and for expanding the National Security Council to include the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House. Both decisions affirm the principle of institutional partnership. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Mr. President, at the risk of provoking the First Lady, I wish to reveal a secret to you. Here at the House, members fondly refer you to as the darling of the legislature. You have accomplished what no president has done for the National Assembly, namely substantially augmenting our capacity to respond to the needs of our constituents. We thank you for that. While we celebrate our successes, we remain acutely aware that it is not yet Uhuru. As we enter the second half of our term, our determination is unequivocal to expedite and finalize the constitutional amendment process by December 2025. Some of our priorities include special reserved seats for women, formal constitutional roles for traditional rulers, and legal backing for a 35% affirmative action gender policy. We appeal to the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and the Progressive Governors Forum to advocate for these essential reforms at the level of the states. Mr. President, I would be remiss in my responsibility to you if I conclude my brief remarks without also offering some useful recommendations on the way forward. You have demonstrated remarkable resolve in removing the fuel subsidy and allowing the Naira to float. Now we require an equally decisive intervention in our power sector. While progress is evident, it is time to wave your magic wand once more to break the cycle of underperformance by shifting from an over-reliance on thermal and hydroelectricity to a diversified energy mix. We must embrace renewable and clean energy sources, such as solar, wind, and even nuclear, to ensure a reliable and sustainable national grid. If anyone can do this, Mr. President, it is you. Secondly, developing the solid mineral sector is essential for Nigeria's economic diversification. While we have some existing geological data, it lacks the precision and quality needed to support large-scale exploration. To complement executive actions, the House of Representatives will immediately commence an urgent review of the 2007 Mining Act to allow subnational entities to operate within the profitable limits of the law, while enhancing oversights and mitigating security risk. If pursued with discipline and clarity, these reforms will position solid minerals as a strategic pillar of our national economy before too long. In conclusion, Mr. President, permit me one final earnest appeal. Today's ceremony has been truly magnificent, and you have achieved what past assemblies could only dream of: an annual address by the President to a joint session of the National Assembly. By accepting our invitation, you have made history. I respectfully urge that we now institutionalize this address as an annual event. On behalf of the Senate and the House of Representatives, I thank you for choosing to celebrate this Democracy Day with us in this hallowed chamber. Happy Democracy Day, Mr. President. Happy Democracy Day, all members of the National Assembly. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Mr. President, in the midst of that eloquent speech by the Right Honorable Speaker, Tinubu Adresses, PhD, GCON, he raised a motion that June 12 should be formalized as a presidential day of address to the joint session of the National Assembly. I'll put the question. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded by the Senate President say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. President, that is the motion of the National Assembly done in your front. Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you. The statistics do not lie. We are quite happy with the statistics you roll out and the pro-people's house that we all run. Mr. President, one request. The honorees, the presiding officers would like to have a group photograph with you right where you are before you depart. Then a slight announcement. Mr. President will now proceed after a group photograph to pay the usual respect to the hallowed chambers in this joint sitting, which is to take a bow to the presiding officers as well as to members. When he entered, Mr. President's handlers brought him straight to the chair. Whenever he enters the chambers, as a former parliamentarian, he's used to paying the normal respect to the parliament. So he will do that. And thereafter, we'll have the national anthem. But upon the departure of the president, he will be led by just the selected few, the deputy speaker, the deputy senate president, and the house leaders. And all other senators and House of Rep members must remain seated. We are too organized for Nigerians to see us seemingly disorganized. I thank you. If Mr. President obliges, I will step down with the Right Honorable Speaker for a group photograph. With the permission of the President, the Vice President of Nigeria is hereby invited to join this picture.
And with the departure of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces from the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly, this democracy broadcast has now come to an end. But just a quick recap of some of the reflections of Mr. President. Besides speaking to issues of defections and debunking projections about Nigeria sliding into a one-party state, Mr. President reiterates the stance of his leadership that members of the other parties who are defecting to the All Progressives Congress are most welcome. And the other high points from his speech are the conferment of national honors on, posthumous national honors on members of the civil society who fought in the defense of democracy, elder statesmen, including the wife of the Martyr of Democracy, Kudirat Abiola, and of course the presiding officers of the National Assembly were also conferred with national honors, and Mr. President in fact decorated them right there in the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly. And we now saw, to cap it all up, the Senate President himself moving a motion for the adoption of the presentation of Democracy Day address to members of the National Assembly to become an annual event. And Mr. President has since exited. So from here, we now return to our continued broadcast of the annual Talk Summit brought to you by the Covenant Nation, the platform. We invite you to stay on with Channels Television.
To the election. Follow-on question from online. When you were speaking about, make haste slowly, someone typed in the question online that, but when we were doing